Hey everyone, hope you're doing well and staying safe during these crazy times. So I thought I'd come to you and lighten the mood a little bit and talk self-tapes. Okay, maybe that doesn't lighten the mood a whole ton, but maybe these tips will make your next self-tape a little bit easier. As we all know, self-tapes are likely to be here for the foreseeable future, if not become the new norm in our industry. So as the world changes, we're gonna change right with it. And that being said, we wanna make sure your self-tapes are the absolute best they can be, so you have the best chance at booking your next project. Number one tip for self-taping is read the directions and then read them again. The reason that this is so important is, like I said, self-tapes are becoming the new norm. And so everybody is doing them a little bit differently because they have to make them fit for their project. So read the directions, read them again. And if you're not sure before you submit, read them one more time. There's little tiny things like, please submit 2 takes, please submit your file in 1 file, please name your file this, please wear something specific, please do your hair specific. There's a whole long list of actions and directions, and we will send you everything you possibly need to make your self-tape correct. But we can't help you read the directions, so please do so. And this will ensure over anything else that your self-tape is what they want. And the reason this is so important, that if they see you not following directions anywhere in your self-tape, they're likely to just skip you and go on to the next, and we for sure do not want that. So read, and read again. Another key thing to a great self-tape is good lighting. And while no one's expecting you to send in a professionally shot self-tape, there's a few things you can do to stand out among the rest. And one of those things is absolutely lighting. There's a few really easy ways to make lighting look better so you're not grainy and dark, which is the main problems we see in self-tapes. The best and easiest way to get lighting for free is to sit in front of a window or a door and set up your backdrop behind that so your lighting coming in is what's lighting your face. Now, the only thing you want to watch out there is that you don't get backlit or it's super sunny out and you get a ton of shadows. Those things are no-goes either. Another really easy thing you can do is just order a ring light or a small light kit for really cheap these days, and that makes for really great lighting. I'm using one right now, and I actually just have a mirror over here popping the window light back on my face so I'm not half dark over here and lit up over here. That's a good way to do it, and while it's not perfectly perfect, it does make a huge difference. As you can see, lights off, lights on, way better self-tape, and lighting does actually make a big difference. Another thing we cannot stress enough about self-tapes is that this is your audition. So please treat it like this is your in-person audition. So have your hair, your makeup done, wear wardrobe however they've told you in the directions. And if they haven't given you direction on wardrobe, then just something really plain with not a lot of patterns or logos as you typically would in a headshot too. Speaking of headshots, make sure you look like your headshot in your self-tape. Now I know things are a little bit weird and we're all getting the quarantine crazies. So if you've dyed your hair or something, just make a quick note that you're happy to put it back to the way it is in your headshot and move on from it. If you've drastically made a difference to your look, please update your headshot. We cannot have self-tapes not match headshots because 90% of the time you're getting a self-tape based on your headshot. So again, that's just as important as when you don't do an audition in person. Treat the self-tape just the same. Another tricky thing about self-taping that you're about to hear for yourself right here is the audio. I've got recycling picking up right outside. I've got my baby sitting right here that's probably about to scream. I've got my dog sitting right over here that's probably gonna start barking at the recycling guy. And this is the only blank wall in my house, so I don't really have anywhere to escape. So the trick with audio is, if you have a good microphone, that's awesome. Most people are just using their phones, that's awesome too. The great thing about technology is you can just redo another take, redo another take, and pick the one where your audio is best and your take is best, and then submit that file. Changing it up a little bit on you. So if you are asked to do a self-tape that's not a traditional self-tape, and they've been asking this quite a lot lately, to do your actual environment or submit your self-tape as the final video, that's been happening too. So you want to do your absolute best to set the background up to be as final as possible. Some of the ones we've seen, they're sending you light kits, they're gonna send you materials to make this right and make this work for you on a more professional level. But some of these videos I've seen, and I've seen the final product, they're using your actual self-tape in their final videos. You wanna make sure what you're submitting then is absolutely the best it can be. So if you're using a background like a kitchen or a cool painting or a backdrop or whatever, make sure you got a good depth of field so you're still front and center, but the background still shines. There's a lot of different ways they can blur out the background if they want to on their end in editing. So you want to make sure you're giving them full picture and that you're not actually being the production yourself and the creative eye yourself, but you're giving them a good enough video to work with for the final product. There's also so many cool things right at your fingertips these days to help you with self-tapes, and we wanted to share a few we found with you. The first is this really cool app called Slateable. Slateable is designed totally for self-tapes. It allows you to take multiple takes, edit those takes, delete those takes, so you can get a perfect audition every time. The free version actually is just great and all you really need to. There's also a really cool feature in that app that you can be your own reader. So you can pre-record the other person's lines and then take your audition so you actually have a reader when you don't have anyone in your home to help you. Another way to do a really cool thing without a reader, because of course we know there's not a lot of people available to come over right now and you can't just call your friend and say, hey, come be a reader. But another really cool way to set that up is to just set up a Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, whatever you use with a family member or friend, and have them be your reader from a distance. That way you get your reader done, you have that interaction, and they're right there so you can do it as many times as you need to make the perfect audition. And lastly, another really cool app to get is a teleprompter app. There's a ton out there. The free ones actually seem to be great too. So if you don't have time to be off book, download a teleprompter app and do your audition. It records you as you're reading the thing, and then you can have time to memorize it afterwards and still submit a really nice audition that looks like you were off book. So I hope these tips and tricks will help you on your next self-tape. And as always, if you have questions, please reach out to us. We're here to do the very best we can to get you the most work we possibly can. And since self-tapes are becoming the new norm, it's definitely worth investing some time, maybe a little bit of money in lighting to get these absolutely right, because everything you put in front of the client is representing you, it's representing us, and we want you to book these jobs.